call this meeting of the Hawarden City Council to order. This is our regular council meeting on Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. It is 5:31. We have our standard agenda items to approve. Are there any changes, or is there a motion?
Motion approved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor of approving the, this is the minutes from October 9th, 2024. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Moving on to approval of the October 23rd claims for payment. Is there any discussion or a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. And a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of approving the claims for payment for October 23rd, 2024, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you. At this time, we have open business from the community. Is there anyone in attendance that wishes to speak at this time? No. Okay. Then we will move on to the mayor's report. We have a few activities coming up in the next couple weeks. On Sunday, there is the Frog Pond Fall Fest with free face painting, outdoor games, hay rides, burgers, chips. This is the courtesy of Tim Erickson and Jeff and Shelley Sherman. And it's to celebrate the reopening of Frog Pond Park. It's Sunday, October 27th from 4 to 6 p.m. Then on October 31st, we have our Trunk or Treat from 5 to 6 at the Hawarden Community Center parking lot. Also, we've got the Halloween Town hosted by Brian and Christy Warner at the Community Center from 5 to 8. Check that out. And new this year, we've got pulled pork sandwiches and chips available from Rigid Steel. So dress up and come down and get some treats. We've got the Hawarden Holiday Express tickets go on sale Saturday morning at 9 a.m. There will be a link posted on the Hawarden Area Arts Council Facebook page in order to get your tickets. And they're kind of a hot item, so it starts at 9 a.m. on Saturday. The Holiday Express will be on Saturday, December 7th, with rides at 11 a.m., 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 5 o'clock p.m., and it will be departing from Calliope Village. And that's all I have tonight. We'll go on to staff reports. Gary?
The only thing I'd like to add tonight is that if you notice, we have a couple special events in your packet. We had been putting those on as consent agendas on the council, and we kind of decided that it's really unnecessary unless there's a street closure or alcohol involved or something like that. We'll just put them on in your packets so you're aware of them, but we won't take the time to put them on the agenda and require any type of action from the council that way. So unless there's street closure or alcohol. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Tracy's not here. We don't have anything from her? No. Okay. And Travis?
EPA's lead and copper rule revisions, or LCRR, require water operators nationwide to inventory their water service lines so we can notify homeowners that have lines that are either lead, galvanized, requiring replacement, or if the line is unknown what material. The city has completed that and submitted our inventory to the Iowa DNR, who will then forward it to the EPA. Staff have identified 24 service lines where property owners and the residents, in case it's a owner-renter situation, that'll be notified. There are 3 instances where the customers need to be notified. The first one is if any portion of the service line is known to have lead. The The second is if it's a galvanized service line that was at any time downstream of a lead line, because lead can leach into the galvanizing of the pipe, essentially making it lead contaminated. And then any service line where the material is unknown, you have to assume it's lead. So 24 out of 1,100 services have been identified. Along with the notification, we'll be adding information to our website. One thing to note is that the city has no lead water mains. Another thing to keep in mind is that homes built before 1983 may have small amounts of lead in their interior plumbing from pipes, fixtures, and lead solder. Service lines are owned and maintained by the homeowners, but we do anticipate grants in the future to help homeowners with the cost of service line replacement. And we'll notify everyone affected when any of the funding becomes available, if they choose to replace their service lines that have lead. Work on the FEMA trailer site is moving very quickly. We put out information to avoid 16th Street from Avenue N to Avenue O, as a contractor will be hooking up utilities in the street Thursday and Friday.
Thank you. Chief DePriest.
Nothing to report.
Okay. Carol.
I did have an opportunity to put Hawarden in the spotlight at Accelerate Siouxland at Northwestern College. It was a pretty nice presentation to showcase Hawarden, what we have to offer, what we have going on, and where we can find opportunities to expand in our city with other city leaders. It was pretty awesome. I did go to the legislative roundtable and present Hawarden as well. Walked through things and projects we had going on, where we had used federal and state monies, and pretty much just thanked the legislators for their efforts and their continued work to provide cities with money. I did pick several areas that, with the legislators, that I'm going to be writing to them for. I'm going to get some grants going, micro grants for businesses here in town that were affected by the floods and were affected just overall. Maybe the water didn't touch their business, but they still lost customers. Maybe their home was affected. Things that did that. So I wanted grants instead of loans. So I'm going to shoot for the micro grants for the businesses. I'm going to shoot for the grants for the multifamily relief funding, which is rentals. These people that, if they had given the rental landlord $20,000 instead of putting it toward housing somewhere else, we could have just renovated the home that they were living in and put them back in the home. So we're going to kind of shoot for that. Hazard mitigation funding and state share of our property buyouts were two more areas I'm going to focus on. Community-wide strategic planning, tributary and buffer strips, which Travis educated me about. So I'll go ahead and write on that topic as well. So hopefully those 5 areas I'll be able to really push on and meet with our state and get something going. So other than that, my grant applications are slowly slowing down, thank God. And we'll just continue to work with the homeowners and get them taken care of before winter, hopefully.
Very good. Thank you, Carol. And Jenny is with us on the phone. Jenny, do you have anything to report today?
I do not, thank you.
Okay. Then we will move on to 2C council comments, and we'll open it up for anyone that has a comment.
I would like to add a couple items to next month's council meeting.
Okay.
One is consideration to make these meetings monthly rather than every 2 weeks. I think that was primarily done way back when because we had trouble paying our bills if we just met once a month. Well, with the computer now, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Secondly, I think we need to look at paying the staff, the salaried staff, a little bit for their work during the flood. I mean, Travis put in a hell of a lot of time, Gary put in a lot of time, and I don't know that we have acknowledged that in any way financially, and I wonder if we shouldn't. If we can get paid for Boyer tearing up service, we should be able to get paid for these people. And I would hate to think what we'd been like without those two and the work they did. It was above and beyond, and I think they deserve a
Definitely out of the realm
Acknowledge.
of their regular duties.
yeah.
Everybody's, all the staff.
Good thoughts, thank you. Any other comments from council? If not, we'll move on to other agenda items. Number 3, Jeremy Erdman would like to purchase an alley.
We talked about this at the last meeting. So I won't pull up the map, but Jeremy Urban has property out on the south side of Hawarden, and there's an old non-existent alley that used to be an alley, or we don't know what it used to be, but we call it an alley. It's the size of an alley, and just borders his property, and it is of no use to the city, and he would like to buy it. It's 15 feet wide by 224 feet long, so he's made the request to buy it, and so we've put it on the agenda to dispose of the property. We have to put it in the paper, have a public hearing, have it at the next meeting for further discussion, have a public hearing on it, see if there's any opposition. We've been selling our properties for 50 cents a square foot, so that would total $1,680 plus any publishing expense. So
We talked about last council meeting in that little skinny strip of land between his property and farm fields. I mean, I don't have any problem selling it, so I would make a motion to approve resolution 2024-27.
Okay.
Second.
Was that a second? Okay, thank you. Second from Monty. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you. Item 4, Jesus Stopete would like to start the process of purchasing some city.
same is true with Mr. Tepete. This is the ground at 9th and Avenue H, I believe, and it's by our trail, walking trail. If you remember, you've had several discussions about that, and it's the same thing. It's ground that we typically don't use. He would like to build a garage at some point, and you've noted what restrictions you would like as far as how far keep away from the trail, those types of things. So that was done, and again, we're proposing to dispose of it and publish the public hearing for the next meeting. So to do so.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, and a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor of approving the resolution 2024-28, proposing sale of real estate to Jesus Topete, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0, thank you. Number 5 is approved pay request from Niagara Power Transformer for substation project first transformer.
Travis, you want to talk about that?
Yep, this transformer arrived first, and it's actually sitting on the property. The one thing to note is that there were 6 things that the prices were quoted at bid time that could go up or down as prices changed. And in your packet, you'll see there's like Brent crude, that went down, so there was a $4,000 savings. Core steel went up, 3,300 increase. Copper went down, so there's a 4,000 savings. Steel went down, so there's a savings. And then accessories and freight went up. So the overall up and down was an $8,000 $757 additional price per transformer. And that's noted in the new price there in the invoice. Then minus the 5% that we hold until the transformer's been tested and set up. We knew the adder was on there when we got the bids. They won't sell a transformer without having that assurance that as prices go up and down from when they quote, because it was 2 years ago, from when they quoted it to when they actually built it. So the day they start building is when they get the true numbers. So I actually feel pretty good about just an $8,000 increase.
I'd make a motion to approve pay request from Niagara Power Transformer invoice 51347.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you. Item 6, review and approval of renewable energy credit, 2025 claims.
So every year we'll have to fill this out. MRES gives us credit for renewable energies. 80% of our electricity we get is from WAPA, so that's a renewable energy. Of the 20% we purchase, 2% is carbon-free, 4% is deemed carbon-free. So we end up with an 86% carbon-free footprint. So this is free to us to say we have 86% of our electricity is carbon-free, and 80% of that is renewable. Now there's options where if you wanted to claim a 100% carbon-free footprint, you could purchase 14% of our electricity REC credits from someone else at a cost of $3,854. It's just an option if we want to claim more green footprint. The other option would be 100% renewable, which would mean we'd purchase 20% RECs, and that cost would be $5,506. I believe, and staff agrees, that 86% is very good percentage, and that the extra cost could be used better elsewhere. But still, it's your decision if you'd like to go with one of the other routes. And we could go anywhere in between there if you wanted to go up to 90% or, just looking for direction.
I don't know, at this
We
point.
don't.
Go ahead.
We don't really save anything by going that far, do we?
It just tells, we can just claim that we're a higher percentage of green energy.
I think I'm comfortable at staying at the 86%.
Leave it where it is.
Yeah.
At this point,
Just
yeah.
want to feel good.
And, some states are putting mandates out there where you have to be 90%, or by 2040 you have to be 100%. Then we would have to purchase those extra. But with no mandate, I think 86 is really good. So I will submit this one.
You don't need a vote on that. You've got a consensus.
Direction.
Item 5, Hawarden Fire Department request to purchase 2019 Chevrolet pickup for fire protection.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So, excuse me. So in your council packet was a little update on the discussion that's been had over the last couple of years on updating one of the grass rigs. In the meantime of that discussion, ISO came in, as you can see in your packet there, that we were deficient in a lot of areas between the fire department and the water department and the dispatch center. We've been working pretty hard on that. The RAC loan and your contribution from our ISF fund helped greatly on that. We're pretty diligent with those monies and saved quite a bit of the total cost. So when we went forward with a grass rig that's separate from that RAC monies, because it does not fight the same kind of fires that ISO is looking at. ISO is only looking at structure fire capabilities, where a lot of our calls last 2 years have been grass fires. So in that, what came out of that discussion was to go ahead and go for a state bid on a pickup. So we've had the state bid entered for about a year with no contact. State bid estimated cost was around $45,000 for what we're looking for. And basically what came back from the state was, we don't have any, just go buy one off the lot. Well, that's another $15,000. So off the lot cost is approximately $60,000. And then Cars Auto got a local pickup in, it's 2019, that fits our needs. It's a local trade with only 68,000 miles, and his price on that is $30,000. So between the state bid, we're going to save $15,000, and compared to the off the lot cost, we'd save $30,000 on this pickup. So in that discussion, the monies were already in the ISF fund to make this purchase and equip the truck beforehand. So tonight, we're coming forward. We voted at our October business meeting to go ahead with this process, and we're just asking for your continued support and approval to expend those ISF funds for this pickup. Do you guys have any questions for me or any clarification?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Discussion.
I think it makes sense, in my opinion, to go with that. It's a lot less money savings, so.
You know, if that's going to improve, you know, and it's a deficiency and so on, it's a lot better cost than going with the state or buying a new one off the lot. So I don't have any problem with it.
Do they have the money?
Yeah, there's some money set away already, so.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve that purchase?
I make a motion to approve the Hawarden Fire Department request to purchase 2019 Chevy pickup for fire protection.
In a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Passes 4-1. Moving on to number 6. RFP, initial review for the auditors.
If you remember, we visited about sending out an RFP for auditing last spring, but with Tracy, with Jacob being gone and Tracy being new, and you got a newbie in my position, we didn't want to bring somebody in here and scare them to death. So you guys were nice enough to wait until this fall to reconsider. But so I put together an RFP. Some of this language comes from the state auditor's office. But I did plug in some numbers, and I wanted to make sure you guys had a chance to review this. It'll be on on the November 13th agenda for approval, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to review it and ask any questions you might have. What I'm proposing is that we bid for 3 years. We would have the sealed bids back to the city by January 10th of 2025. You could act on it at your February 12th meeting, and that would give ample time to have an auditor in place for 2025. And it may or may not be the same auditors you have. You just don't know. But so I just wanted to make sure you're aware of this and see if you had any issues or any concerns or any other things you would like me to add in. We can do that. I did go on to the State of Iowa Auditors page and pulled up all the cities within an 80-mile radius that use auditing in the area. I've already got a spreadsheet with all the auditors and their addresses, so that we've got those compiled. So once you approve it in November, if you choose to do so, we're ready to send them out the next day to at least all the auditors that function within a 80 or 100-mile radius of here. So. And we do have a few others that I'll probably send them to as well, but those are, so I think it's it's ready to go, other than if you guys see any issues with the numbers or the dates or something, let me know. Otherwise, we'll bring it back for your approval on the 13th, if that's okay. So,
Yeah, we talked about it before, and I agree with what you're doing, so.
I'm assuming you still want to move
Yeah.
forward, but I
Correct.
shouldn't assume things. But, but anyway, I'll bring it forward on the 13th. It's already on the 13th agenda for your approval, and then on the 14th, we'll send them out. So,
Thank you.
if it approves, if it's approved. So, thank you.
Anything further on that? If not, we'll move on to number 7, discussion of flood-related items. Cleanup update. Travis?
Cleanup is completed, that portion of it.
Cleanup's completed, so we really don't have much to add there. So.
Public assistance, nothing really to add other than we have inspection November 7th, 8th, and 12th to go over other damaged public items.
They'll do about a third of what we have each day, and they've come with about, last time, 7 guys or something
Yeah.
like that, and they go to all these different locations and whatever. It's just, it's a process, let's put it that way. So,
Update on donations committee. Patty?
Derek and I sit on the donations committee, and some final checks are going out. We do plan to meet in December to wrap it up. And there is a Hawarden United Foundation that has began October 1st. So we're closing this out, and probably like December, we'll wrap it up.
Okay, great. FEMA trailers.
do you want to talk about that at all? There's-
Just the construction keeps, they're moving right along.
Really
They still are, they're on schedule to be done in that 35-day timeline, so as long as foreseeing any unexpected issues, we'll keep going.
Changes daily. You drive by, it's, wow, they know what
Yep.
they're doing.
And I talked a little bit about that street, not closure, but work that's going to be done on the street, so.
Okay. And housing buyout.
Housing buyout, we have that on the agenda for the 13th of November to discuss in more depth. Travis and I are going to be meeting with Renee Scarlett with Homeland Security, I guess she's with, this next week, and try and get more details. We're putting together a map, the map of the houses that are currently looking for buyouts kind of is evolving every day. It seems to change, so we'll wait as we get closer to the meeting. We'll have a map mapping out where those locations are, so you can see if it makes sense. I guess as far as when they're scattered around town, and what the requirements are of the city, and whether there's, as we find out more information, hopefully we can bring that to you on the 13th, and we can have a more in-depth discussion about it. But at this point, it's just kind of an ever-evolving target, so we're not sure, to be honest with you, how many we have right now. It changes almost daily, it seems like, but we'll have more info on the 13th for you. So.
I had one other thing to add. Gary and I had a great meeting this morning with members from the Iowa DNR, Iowa Homeland Security, FEMA, technical assistant contractor for the Iowa DNR. This was to discuss flood mitigation efforts that we identified after the flood. This was a grant that I applied for in August to get technical assistance to help us map some troubled areas that maybe some mitigation would help. The next step from this meeting would be the technical assistance contractor is going to submit a quote to the Iowa DNR for the work that will need to be done modeling those areas that we talked about. So if that gets approved by the Iowa DNR and Homeland Security, then they'll go ahead and start doing that technical data, and it'll show us if we do a berm here, this will be the effect. If we do something to that railroad track west of town, this will this will be the effect of doing those mitigations. So really excited. They sounded pretty good about the project and being able to help us out. So yeah, we're just waiting now to see if we get that funding through the grant and continue on with that technical assistance. So
I'd like to thank Jeff Keene, if you guys know Jeff or not, but Jeff's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the river and its actions over the years, and he's amazing, and he's talked several times with the DNR, and he's been very, very helpful in this process with some of the things that they're dealing with. So I'd just like to thank him for his involvement and having a positive impact on the community, I think. So
That's good.
that's all I have.
Okay. Any other questions on the flood-related items? We don't really have anything on the consent agenda that requires a street closure or alcohol that's involved, so we will skip over that and go to adjournment. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
And a second? Second. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you. Our next regular council meeting is November 13th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
You pass it around and get this some signatures. Thank you.
It would be the